hundreds of years, the anomaly sector has been off limits. Now it's within reach. Dozens of undeveloped systems, hundreds of planets, and thousands of points of interest await exploration. A vast fleet of ships has rushed forward to discover dark skylines. Hundreds of space bases are being established on uncharted planets, while thousands of adventurers venture into the unknown. Riches and glory beckon, but danger and death lurk around every corner. This is the age of the Starborn. The fate of this galaxy is in your hands. Explore the universe in your telegram. Join the next generation to play and earn games. Take part in the biggest airdrop in history. Experience blockchain and AI in the most technologically advanced telegram project ever. Starborn Legacy. Play now.
Hello everyone, greetings friends. Today we're back with our second stream that you've all been waiting for. My name is Maxim Gazizov, and I am the lead game designer of the project. With me is Dmitry Likhno, the producer of this project. Please let us know how we're coming through. How is the sound? How is the video? In meantime, we'll start talking about the main game, not the pre-game, but the Starborn Legacy, which you'll get to see in the first half of 2025. So let's begin with where the player appears after launching the game. You'll find yourself in anomalous sector of space, a vast unexplored sector filled with numerous systems, each containing different planets and points of interest. Over the time, you'll be able to travel between the systems, pushing deeper and deeper into uncharted space, discovering new challenges and rewards. Of course, players don't move through space on foot. And of course, you'll have a base to operate from. This base will be located in the first system of the anomalous sector. We plan to have more than 30 such systems. Your base could be in space, like an orbital station, or on a planet. Planets vary. On some, you can simply lay down a foundation and set up your base, while others are more challenging. Some might be radioactive, have extreme temperatures or high gravity, requiring you to develop new foundations and protections to ensure your base and unit can function properly. So, what is the base? It's a collection of different buildings that support the life of your unit. These are the structures where your ships are housed, where your heroes live, and where various research activities take place. These buildings also supply your base with electricity and other essentials, ensuring smooth operations. There are also security systems. Since we're in the anomalous sector, danger is everywhere. Hacker attacks, enemy raids, sabotage missions, all of this is tied to the development of your base. And you won't just be upgrading your base for nothing. It evolves with you. At a certain point, when you've explored everything in your current location, you'll need to pack up your base and redeploy it elsewhere. So, your base might start on a beautiful resort planet, then move to an oceanic planet with massive 12-point storms, and a radioactive planet, one with dust storms near a neutron star, or just out in the deep space. Your base is essentially a living organism that evolves and improves over the time. And as Dima mentioned, bases are not stationary. You'll have to move them regardless because you start in the initial system of this anomalous sector. As you level up yourself, your base, and your unit, you'll eventually outgrow this system. You'll have completed all the raids and you wanted to gather everything you needed and you'll want to keep your progression discovering new content. But moving to another system without your base isn't an option, because you need a place for your squad to operate from and launch raids, so you'll need to relocate your base. And it's not just a matter of placing your base on a planet. You could, for example, place it on an orbital station. There are various options. If you need valuable raids from a specific planet, you'll have to protect your base there. First, you'll need to pack it up for transport. This requires a special technology that you'll need to research, and then you'll need to unpack it, another technology to learn base unpacking. Additionally, you'll need to protect your base from the harsh environmental conditions of each planet. Aggressive NPCs and aggressive players, yes, them too. In space, and in the system as a whole, there is a vast number of points of interest. This could be located on planets, asteroids, passing comets, or simply floating in space. For example, there could be a trade route passing near you. How could you resist flying over and raiding some caravans? This makes the locations of your base extremely important. Your base has a certain scouting radius within which your radar operates. Depending on how advanced your radar is and how skilled your scouting team is, they'll gather information from the area the radar covers and report back. Look, there is a mine here. You can steal some ore. There are some workers you can rob. Over there, a meeting of smugglers is about to take the place. You could raid it and take them out. And we've also discovered ruins of an ancient temple, which might hold something interesting. Each time your scouts will survey the surrounding areas in cycles, finding new things. This doesn't mean they'll find everything around you, but based on how well your scouting abilities, radar range, and the team running the radar are upgraded, they can bring back more and more information. And the most important thing is that before sending your unit on a raid, since there are many different kinds of raids, you need to know what to expect. Once you receive the information from your scouts, the next step is managing your unit to prepare for the raid. Yes, and I'd like to add that right now, in the pregame phase, you can already get a sense of scouting mechanics, because the intelligence center is currently being upgraded, unlocking more complex raid levels. This is a core mechanic that will work exactly the same way in the main game. So, by upgrading the intelligence center, you increase the range at which you can scan and discover new raids. You can not only upgrade the range, but also the amount of information you receive about these raids. All scouting happens from your base. You must have an intelligence center on your base. Your unit is also stationed on the base. Your unit can consist of several fighters, anywhere from 3 to 6. You could have just one, but initially, you're given 3 unit members for free in the main game. Each fighter has a different specialty, and each specialty addresses specific tasks. You can upgrade each specialty individually along its own skill tree. For example, you might have diplomats, survivalists, or miners. Similarly, you can have support characters who don't participate directly in the raids. For instance, scientists who assist with research in the base laboratory, mechanics who works in the base workshop, and characters who help operate the shuttle but not join the raids. Not just in the shuttle, also on the base. For example, you might have a doctor in your infirmary who heals your wounded fighters faster after a raid, or a scout who provides more accurate information, and so on. So, how does a raid actually work? First, let's say we have a raid where we need to fight, search for something, and, for example, survive in a dangerous environment. This means we need a fighter in the unit, a survivalist, and someone skilled in searching, 3 members in total. A raid consists of a series of challenges, encounters, or events, and at each event, a check is performed. For instance, in a combat event, you might walk into an ambush and be attacked by enemies. There's a certain combat difficulty, and your fighter has a combat skill level. This level is compared against the difficulty, and depending on the result, the encounter is either successful or not. If successful, the unit receives a reward. If not, they might get injured or suffer some penalties. But there can also be events where, even if you successfully pass the encounter, you don't receive any reward. This means that if you had failed the encounter, the consequences would have been very negative. So, a raid is essentially a sequence of these encounters. Over the time, you'll face more serious, significant encounters, which we call checkpoints. At a checkpoint, you'll have to pass not one but two checks. For example, if we're talking about the raid I described, survival, search, and combat, then while a regular encounter might involve a check for just one of these parameters, a checkpoint would require two, such as survival and combat simultaneously. To pass the checkpoint, you need to succeed in both checks. The main reward you will receive, basic rewards like resources and soft currency, are found in regular encounters. Checkpoints are twice as difficult to pass, but the rewards are much greater. There are in game ways to increase your chances of getting rewards at checkpoints. Each time you review the scouting information about a raid, if your scouting is well upgraded, you'll know what in this raid you'll face the specific challenges and encounters like I mentioned, combat, survival and search. And on average, you might get resources like ore and crystals. However, at the checkpoints, you'll find the really good stuff like NFTs. You might discover a new character, new equipment, or a piece of a map that show the location of a rare raid, and so on. Raids are divided into several types. There are raids you can farm indefinitely. For example, there might be a mine where you can periodically fly in and extract some ore. But if a privateer ship shows up, hangs around for a while, and then leaves, once it's gone, you can't raid it anymore. And once you raided it, that's it. It can't be raided again. What does this mean? It means there are rare raids that don't appear often, which you have to specifically hunt for, and where the rewards are much higher than in regular raids. If we talk about the numbers, we've already done the math, so I can speak freely about this. In rare, unique raids that happen only once, the rewards are 10 times greater than in the regular raids that you can run 3 or 4 times a day. So, the main task for the player is to enter a territory, find the rare raids, clear them out as efficiently as possible, and then move on to a new territory where more of these raids can be found. Before starting a raid, you'll need to fly there, and their travel time depends on several factors. First, which tier you're in. Second, the type of shuttle you have. And third, the amount of fuel required, which will depending on the difficulty of the raid you're heading to. During the flight to the raid, you might also encounter events, encounters that you may or may not overcome. Here, it's not so much your unit that matters, but your shuttle. You can equip your shuttle with different models, defensive models, offensive models, and other types that will help you handle various encounters that might occur during the flight, even before you reach the raid. For example, you might need to evade a military patrol, avoid a meteor shower, escape the pool of neutron star, or intercept an unarmed trader. These things can happen while you're en route to the raid site, and your scouting won't inform you about this. So, when you send your shuttle on a mission with a fully equipped unit, you need to ensure that A. They make it to the destination, and B. They return, ideally not just intact but with a profit. And to craft new items, which you'll need to for the raids, PvP battles, and almost every activity, you'll require equipment. To craft it, you first need to research and study each piece of equipment individually. By researching, you gain research points, which you can then spend on a new research. Once the research is complete, you receive a receipt that you can use to craft the item in your workshop, like research receipts and also divided by levels and tiers. Those of you who have played XCOM or similar games will find this system familiar and straightforward. We upgrade buildings, study new structures, and develop defenses against external threats like radiation, gravity, dust storms, earthquakes, and so on. This allows us to set up your base on more and more planets, enabling exploration and, of course, the raiding of caravans. So, the gameplay cycle. looks like this. You establish your base in a certain territory, launch scouting missions. Scouts explore everything around, and then units are sent out to gather what the scouts have discovered. After they bring back everything they've looted, conquered, or found, it's all distributed throughout the base, used for base development, strengthening the squad, and leveling up, for crafting equipment and resources, among other things, for research, upgrades, and crafting. After that, you move to a new location and continue doing the same, but with new raids, new resources, new encounters, and new events. The positioning of your base will be very important. For example, in one system you might collect minerals from regular raids. In other, you'll find more metals. In the third, you might gather organic materials. And in fourth, fuel. So, your movements throughout the game world should be carefully planned to ensure you're playing as efficiently as possible. Now, I'm sure this question would have come up sooner or later about the space battles. Space battles happen on a much higher level. Initially, you're just the captain of a small band of adventurers. As Maxim mentioned, one raid can include 6 people. You can have several raids going on the same time, with multiple teams at your base, but it's still not enough for large scale base battles. But when you level up and start forming squads, or rather squadrons, and especially when you join clans and begin to control the entire systems, things change. You won't just be raiding a mine, you'll establish your own processing plants, set up defense systems, and start controlling them. At that point, you'll be developing your battle fleet and engaging in the battles with other large clans like yours. Because, for one thing, it's never good when a clan picks on regular players. Bullying the little guy isn't right. It's up to each player to decide if they're ready to join serious, intense PvP battles for planet control and tokens. That's the main point of clan warfare, controlling system that generate tokens for you. A regular player can collect tokens by flying around and gathering resources from the raids, obtaining NFTs or burning those resources in a special processing device, which will give you tokens based on a certain percentage for the resources burned. So that's roughly what the core gameplay will look like. Of course, we'll only give you a general overview, and we'll gradually reveal more details about our game in future streams. We hope you'll enjoy it. Moreover, everything we discussed is still subject to change before the game's release. So, if things turn out slightly different than we've said here, don't hold it against us. It's a normal and healthy part of the game development process. It reminds me a Galaxy Online if you know that game. I haven't played that specific one, but I've played many different games, both browser based and desktop, so I am familiar with that genre. This game was born from the idea of combining elements of XCOM, 4X strategy, and Fallout Shelter. Those were some of our inspirations. And there's a bit of EVE Online in there too. Well, maybe not quite EVE Online, but yeah, there's some of that. Social interaction will also be a key part of the game. Any more questions, Dimitri? Oh, here's a question. Will there be a reset when the main game launches? Maybe I missed that in the previous stream. Here is the thing, it's not so much about a reset. Everything you earned in the pregame will be transferred to you as a starter pack in the main game. So, yes, once the main game launches, we'll close the pregame, but everything you've earned will be your starting capital. This specifically refers to what you earned in the battle pass, like your base, your characters, which are actually a single unit, not three separate ones. Those will remain in the pregame. You won't bring your base into the main game, but what you earned in the battle pass will be carried over. So the pregame and its battle pass are essentially a way to prepare for the main game and learn how to play to earn without spending any money, just by playing the pregame. Thanks, it was interesting to listen. Is there a screenshot of upcoming game? Right now we only have concepts, concept art. We're still working on everything. but as soon as we have something to show, we'll definitely share it with you. Exactly. Thanks everyone, take care, stay tuned for the news, and we'll see you in the next stream. See you soon, bye.